Yo, what's up? It's T. Welcome back to Money Sense. What I figured out over time is that a lot of the outcomes that happen are a result of your mentality, and personal finance is no different. A lot of your relationship with money is going to come from how you frame your mindset. So, how exactly do we frame our mindset? Well, one way I like to do it is by considering a concept known as opportunity cost, which helps me put things into perspective and make better financial decisions. Opportunity cost represents the potential benefits missed out on when choosing one option over the other. What that really boils down to is that whenever you make a decision in your life, you have to make a trade-off. To get one thing, you have to give up something else. In other words, doing one thing costs you the opportunity to do another thing. Let's see it in action now. Let's say, for example, Jim is deciding how to spend his evening, and he's narrowed it down to two options. Option one is that he can spend the evening studying for a test he has the next morning. Option two is that he can go over to a friend's house to play video games. If Jim decides to spend the time studying at home, he'll be giving up the fun and the memories of having a fun night out with friends. And if he chooses to spend the night with his friends, he'll potentially be giving up the opportunity of getting a good grade on the test. What he gives up is what we call the opportunity cost. So right about now, you're probably thinking, T, what does this have to do with $40,000 burgers? And I'll show you. Before I do, if you're enjoying the video, make sure you drop a like. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I post new videos every weekend. And as always, drop a comment if there's something you want to see me talk about or if you have a question. Also, make sure to check out my social media pages at MoneySenseT on Instagram and TikTok. It helps me out a lot and I'd really appreciate it. And with that said, let's get back to the video. Whenever we make financial decisions, it's always important to consider the opportunity cost and how our money could be better utilized. And that's where burgers come in. So let's go back to our hypothetical situation with Jim. Let's say that Jim decides from age 18 to age 65 when he retires, he'll go to his local fast food restaurant and buy a burger, fries, and a drink. Each month, he'll set aside $10 to do so. With that, Jim would end up spending about $120 every year on burger combos, and by the time he turns 65, he would have spent close to $5,460 on burger combos over the course of his life. But let's look at what Jim gives up by spending $10 a month for 47 years. Of course, Jim's second choice would be not to buy the burgers at all. And by not buying the burgers, he'll simply be saving $5,460. But that's not all he gives up. He actually gives up way more than that. What if, instead of spending $10 a month buying fast food, Jim puts that same $10 a month into a low-risk stock market index fund earning about 7% per year adjusted for inflation? After doing some quick calculations, by the time Jim is 65, that money will be worth an astonishing $41,000. So, by deciding to spend the money on burgers, Jim isn't just giving up the cost of the burgers itself. Instead, Jim will be giving up the chance to make $41,000, which is really the opportunity cost in this situation. In a way, the burgers did not just cost him $5,000 or the cost of the burgers itself, but it cost him $41,000 in lost potential. This frame of thinking can be applied to basically any decision that you make in your life. And you may not even notice it, but we usually think of it when we're making other types of decisions. But this is often overlooked from a financial perspective, especially that second part, where we look at it from an investment perspective as opposed to just saving the money. However, I will caution you about overusing opportunity cost when you're making decisions, because quite simply, it's going to drive you crazy. For example, don't stress too much about small individual purchases because they won't amount to much in the future. Because if you do overuse opportunity cost when you're thinking about making small decisions like buying gum at the convenience store, it will ruin your relationship with money, which is not what we're going for. Instead, use it when you're noticing repetitive trends in your life, like buying burgers every week, or choosing out that new subscription, or when you're analyzing your budget at the end of the month. Also, make sure to consider the opportunity cost when you're making large purchases like choosing out a car or choosing out a place to live. I also find that considering the opportunity cost will help you set your priorities. You'll have to ask yourself if something now could be put to better use. For example, you might decide that burgers aren't worth $41,000 in the future. Two more notes on opportunity cost. The first is to remember that time also has an opportunity cost. Spending time doing one thing means you're giving up that same amount of time that you could be doing something more productive or something that you enjoy more. For example, do you want to spend more time in traffic, or do you want to spend more time working, or do you want to spend that time traveling the world or hanging out with your friends and family? And my last point is always to factor in happiness along with numbers. You have to remember that opportunity cost compares one choice to the best possible alternative. If treating yourself to a burger once a month is going to make you happy, and it's what you consider the best possible alternative, then hey, it might just be worth the trade-off. So make sure you always consider the opportunity cost of any decision that you make. And trust me, you'll be the better for it. It just makes sense. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe because I post a new video every weekend. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, make sure to follow my Instagram and TikTok at MoneySenseD. And I'll see you guys in the next video.